Hey YouTube, it's Chris from Universe X. I was just coming back with the next part of the Clash of Fates preview. So let's get right into it. Actually, before we get right into it, if you guys could just like, comment, subscribe, show a friend. This is just the place where I'm just gonna put a lot of summaries up. Soon, when they start releasing more stuff, I'll start having actually like news. But for now, I'm just playing a little catch up. So right now, we're gonna talk about blue in the Clash of Fates, and we'll get right into it. The name of the game here is Bardock and Friends. It's just Bardock's crew. And first, we're going to start off with the Bardock leader. Burst 2, auto. When this card attacks leader card, draw one card. And then this card gets 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. Next, when your life is at 4 or less, untap 2, energy, flip this card over. So a little generic, but still, it is what it is. You swing a leader, you mill 2, you draw 1. The mill 2 is actually very, very important for this archetype, though, which you'll see soon enough. The backside, Bardock, Hope of the Sands. Auto Sparking 5. When this card attacks, draw one card and he gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. When this card is attacked, if a Bardock's crew card is in your drop area, you may choose one card from your life and place into your drop area. If you do, negate the attack. So first and foremost, the front side feeds sparking. So the front side feeds sparking, and the back side allows him to just swing at 5k higher, just like his front side. So first and foremost, we've seen whenever a card allows itself to go +5, it changes the math a little bit. Your early game swings are completely unavoidable because your opponent has to go super neg to get over it. And then your late game swings get a little harder because your leader swing just isn't a throwaway block anymore. It can't just be blocked by a Sensu or anything. You actually have to start expending stuff. So that's pretty neat. His second effect, Awakened, is you crit yourself, you negate an attack. So not necessarily the best, but it does have some neat interactions. It's not going to just push your game through, but you could be at 6 life and stop a Shinron player's ultimate just based off of this card. They didn't attack you all game and they go for their at all costs or their Gogeta, and you can just auto, and that's all 3 of their swings, and you lost 3 out of your 6 life. So that is actually very, very important. Of course, it's just the risk versus if you're going to take triple strike and you just crit yourself once, obviously, you have a better play. Moving on to the next card. Gine, Mother of Hope. 1-drop. There's a lot of 1-drops in this archetype, so just get ready for it. Auto, when you combo with this card, if one of your blue Bardock cards are being attacked, this card gets plus 5,000 combo power. It's already at 5,000 combo power. So basically, your blue Bardock cards can be your leader. That's something that can be they'll always differentiate when it says leader card, battle cards, it says cards. So if your opponent's swinging on you, and you have 3 of these in hand, I don't know if the space will permit it, but if you have 3 of these in hand, that's 30k on top of your leader just by paying 0 energy. So these are almost mini super combos, and they change up the battle damage a lot, and I think that's actually really cute. Moving on, we got another one of those feature rares, Son Goku, striving to be the best. Barrier, 2-drop, only 1 blue, so he's splashable. Permanent, your opponent cannot your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 2 or less can't attack. And this one was the only one spoiled and that everybody was hooting and hollering over. It's not a storm killer. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. Yes, it can stop Gotens from swinging, but Crisis Crusher stopped Bardocks from swinging, and as we saw, the deck still has gas. I mean, if you open this up and you go first, you are cutting off a lot. Especially if you go first, they get their 1 or 2 swings, you play this guy. He's got barrier, they can't swing with the Gotens, they can't swing with the Bardocks, and that's a huge stem, of their damage. You're going to cut the bleeding a lot. However, at the same time, they still have their Foos, they still have their Miras, they still have Great Ape Bardocks if they choose to evolve. And those are different things that are going to come into play. There are cards that can be slotted in more or less. I mean, some of them are already in there full effect, but the apes can come and go depending on how the format is. On top of that, there is a Frieza card that does tap these barrier cards, so through barriers, and you could tap them and then get your leader swing in or swing with the Frieza itself. So there are ways around it. And then for last, the main point is, if you go second, this card feels terrible. Like, how are you going to feel like opening it and thinking, well, I may have a chance, and then Storm does its preferable turn 1 and turn 2 plays, and by the time that's done, you're looking at 4 life or so, 4, maybe 3 life, and all they got to do is tap you with a leader and an overwhelm, and it's just gone. So this card is very neat, and it should have a place in the format whenever, you know, weenie decks come up, and it will take games from Storm if you go first, but just don't think it's the end-all be-all. Moving on next to Kakarot, Bearer of Fate, another 1-drop. When you play this card, draw a card. So we all like Majin Buus. Majin Buu is unfortunately completely power crept. Everybody has this effect plus an effect. Activate main. Place this card at the bottom of the owner's deck and choose up to 1 blue sand card with an energy cost of 1 in your drop area and add it to your hand. Now this adds a bunch of synergistic play because there's a bunch of 1-drops in this archetype. And this card turns your grave into a toolbox. You need a different 1-drop? Great. Play this card. Activate main. Tuck it. Recycle another card. So I like the longevity of those plays. It's actually something that's appealing to me a lot. Prince Vegeta. Just a blank 10k 1-drop. But it has really cute artwork, and you know that's what matters. Moving on, we've got Burnished Bonds Tora. Barrier, 3-drop, 2 blue. Permanent. If a Bardock's Crew card is in your drop area, reduce the energy card of this energy cost of this card in your hand by 1. So it comes down for 2 blue. Activate main for 3 blue. Place this card into its owner's drop area. Choose up to 1 Final Strike Bardock from your deck or drop area and play it. Then shuffle your deck if you look through it. A little bit of a spoiler. It was one of the things revealed at Nats, and I can't off the top of my head remember its ability, but Final Strike Bardock is the SR for blue. It has like a weird effect. I really can't remember. It was kind of underwhelming to me, but all the support around it does things. Like this Burnished Bonds Tora summons it. I think there's a Fasha that untaps it. There's a way that like all the cards give it strength to go in for game, but the card itself is pretty just well-rounded, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. You know, Bandai likes printing broken cards. Planetary Invader Tora. That is a 1-drop. Auto, when you play this card, choose up to 1 Bardock's Crew card in your drop area and add it to your hand. Again, it's another recursion effect. They're really trying to turn the grave into a toolbox, but so far you've only seen 2 recursion cards. Next, Burnished Bonds Fasha, critical, permanent. If a Bardock's Crew is in your hand, reduce its cost by 1. It is also a 3 for 2 blue, 1 colorless. So it's going to go down to 2-drop if you have a Bardock's Engrave and Bardock's Crew Engrave, and you know you will with this deck. Activate main, place this card to its owner's drop area, choose up to 1 Bardock's Crew card in your battle area and switch to active mode. This is the one I was talking about. Moving past that, you got the 1-drop Fasha, Planetary Invader Fasha. Auto, when you play this card, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 Bardock's Crew card from amongst them, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So this is the top searcher. You got a searcher, 2 graveyard recursions, and one of them has you draw a card. Next one, Burnished Bond Shugesh. He is the 3rd time we've seen this effect, maybe even the 4th, I think. I could be missing one. But BCC Gohan on another card. You know, you swing. He's a 15k for 3. He does not have the cost reduction like the other ones, and for good reason. This would be too good to be a 2-drop. But when this card attacks, you may draw 1 card. If you don't, double strike. Simple. Then you've got Burnished Bonds Borgos. Ugly dude with the 3 slashes on his forehead for being so ugly. It's the mark of the ugly. When you play this card, draw 1 card, 1-drop. Once per turn, when your opponent, or during your opponent's turn, if your opponent switches their energy to active mode using a non-awakened skill, choose up to 1 of your opponent's energy, put it in the graveyard. Swoosh. This is more likely to be a Storm Killer. It is disgusting whether you draw it turn 1, or going first, or going second. You stick him on board, and your opponent cannot operate off of 2 energy. And the fact that it lets you choose, gross. Like, it's actually gross. Your opponent unyielding said, I don't know. As a Storm player, I feel like you'd have to just stop until you can kill this card. Because, well, if you're on 2 energy at least, you can't really work around your opponent destroying your only blue energy. Or even worse yet, I'm being stupid, destroying your only yellow energy when you unyielding it. You know, just unyielding. Borgos. No yellow energy, and all of a sudden you're just stuck with a single blue energy. Good luck defending yourself. So this is more likely to be a Storm killer than anything that we've seen so far. It's a wonderful card, and I like how it just snuck through on one of the ugliest, most useless characters it ever was. But then again, that's nothing new. Shugesh ruined the format, and he's just a fat Saiyan with a mustache. I don't even know how it works like that. But moving on. Tulo the Seer. Super combo. Another one of them. 5 life or less. Draw 1 plus 10,000. Future Punch is a extra card. Activate main for 1. Choose 1 Tulo the Seer in your drop area and place it at the bottom of your deck. Choose all of your blue sand leader cards and blue sand battle cards. They get plus 5,000 in power and critical for the duration of the turn. At the end of the turn, choose all of the sand cards in your battle area and place them in their owner's drop areas. So a couple key things to note about this. 1, blue sands. What this means is we have some shenanigans, because you already know there's a lot of blue sands, whether it's Ultra Instinct, whether it's Gogeta, whether it's TOP Go On. There's a lot of blue sands, and this will give them all critical. You wouldn't really play a non-Bardock leader with it, I don't think. Actually, you could, but blue sand leaders, Soul Striker could use this card as long as they played Mr. Tulo. And actually, you know what? Let me take that back. See, that was a misstep. I was like sitting there thinking, I was like, wait, aren't all these super combos leader specific? So, anywho, there's a lot of battle cards you can use with them. But the main thing is you can just have your super combo engraved, and not only do you put your super combo in the bottom of your deck, if there's any shuffle you might have in there, but you are also giving everything critical, which could be a massive push turn, like a hideous amount of push with this all your stuff critical, and you have to turn your board sideways because it's all going to the grave. Will this card see a lot of play? Not sure, but maybe it might be at 1 or 2 in a deck just so you can have that all-in turn. Who knows? But that's actually really neat, and I like how it's splashable. Last little line of the card says to their owner's respective graveyard. So if somehow you got control of your opponent's card, it's going back to their grave. Tora's Red Armband. Activate main. If your leader card is a Bardock's Crew, choose 1 blue Tora card in your drop area, send it to your warp. Draw 4 cards, and mind you, this costs 4 energy. Choose up to 1 Final Strike Bardock in your battle area and switch it to active mode. It gets plus 10,000 power and double strike for the duration of the turn. At the end of the turn, choose up to 1 of your energy and switch it to active mode. When you're supposed to use this all in conjunction, the Tora cheats out the Bardock, or you already have the Bardock on the field. You use this. You swing with it, you use this. Actually, there's a lot of things to do. If you have 6 energy, you can try to go super deep in, give everything critical with the Future Strike. Swing. Tora's Red Armband. Untap it. Double strike. Swing. Fascia shenanigans. There's a lot of little things you can do. It all require you building up a board. The thing that does make this kind of weak is that cards like Kami exist, and so building the boards to make these balls to the walls plays may not happen as much. But it's a cool card. It just costs 4 to draw 4, and that can be a lot. If you have space to play Tora's Red Armband, you probably had space to play another bomb. So we'll see how that plans out. And then you've got the last card, Dream the Future. Counterattack, negate the attack, and if your leader card is a Bardock's Crew, you may choose 1 blue card in your hand and place it in your drop area. If you do, add this card back to your hand. So it's a times judgment with a less steep cost and a leader specific condition. So that's pretty much that. I'm going to move on to yellow next, then green along with black at the end. So if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. Anything I can do to improve, I am trying to get better and better at this in the presentation. But that's pretty much it. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys next time.